Hello, welcome to my channel, Nightlight Science Stories. Today, we are taking a deep breath and diving into the most mysterious place on Earth, the dark abyss, monsters and mysteries of the deep ocean. It is thrilling to have you on this expedition. While we look at the stars, a vast alien world lies right beneath our feet, filled with creatures that defy imagination. Join me as we descend into the eternal blue. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own ocean floor. Covering more than 70% of our planet, the ocean is the lifeblood of Earth, yet it remains a dark puzzle. From the sunlit surface to the crushing darkness of the trenches, every layer holds a secret. It is a world of extreme pressure, freezing cold, and eternal darkness. Yet life finds a way to thrive in the most unexpected and beautiful forms imaginable. We begin our descent in the Twilight Zone, the region where sunlight fades into nothingness. Here, creatures have evolved a superpower, bioluminescence. They create their own light in the dark. Like living neon signs, jellyfish and squid pulse with vibrant colors to communicate, attract prey, or confuse predators. It is a natural light show that rivals the most advanced cities on Earth, happening silently in the deep. This light is produced by a chemical reaction within their bodies, a cold fire that generates no heat. In a world without sun, light becomes the ultimate currency. Some use it as a lure, dangling a glowing bait to attract a meal. Others use it as camouflage, matching the faint light from above to hide their silhouettes. It is a deadly game of hide and seek played out in an environment of shimmering ghostly beauty. Deeper still, we enter the Midnight Zone. Here, the darkness is absolute. Enter the Anglerfish, the monster of our nightmares. With a face full of needle-like teeth and a glowing lure hanging from its head, it is the ultimate ambush predator. In this pitch-black void, the tiny light is irresistible to curious prey. They swim towards the glow, only to disappear into a gaping maw that can swallow prey twice its own size. The male anglerfish has a bizarre fate. He is tiny and lives only to find a female. Once he finds her, he bites onto her and fuses with her body, becoming a permanent parasite. It sounds horrific to us, but in the vast emptiness of the deep, finding a partner is incredibly difficult. This evolutionary strategy ensures that the species survives in one of the loneliest and most hostile environments on the planet. For centuries, sailors told tales of the Kraken, a giant monster capable of dragging ships under. Today, we know the legend is real, the giant squid, growing up to 43 feet long, with eyes the size of dinner plates. These elusive giants roam the deep ocean. They are rarely seen alive, usually only found washed ashore or inside the stomachs of sperm whales. They are the true ghosts of the abyss, intelligent and powerful. Their only natural predator is the massive sperm whale. Titans clash in the deep, a battle between mammal and mollusk that we rarely witness. The squid fights back with serrated suction cups that leave circular scars on the whale's skin. It is a clash of giants in the dark, a primal struggle for survival that has been happening for millions of years, hidden away from human eyes in the crushing depths of the sea. Finally, we reach the bottom of the world, the Mariana Trench. Specifically, Challenger Deep, the deepest point on Earth, nearly 11 kilometers down. If you dropped Mount Everest here, its peak would still be underwater. The pressure is equivalent to an elephant standing on your thumb. Yet, even here, life exists. Strange, translucent amphipods and sea cucumbers scavenge across the desolate lunar-like landscape of the trench floor. Only a handful of humans have ever visited this place, fewer than have walked on the moon. It is the final frontier of exploration. The silence here is heavy, broken only by the shifting of tectonic plates. It is a place of solitude and ancient mystery, a reminder that our planet has depths that remain largely untouched and unknown. It is the closest we can get to visiting an alien world without leaving Earth. We move now to the volcanic seams of the ocean floor. Hydrothermal vents, often called black smokers. These chimneys spew mineral-rich water heated by the Earth's magma to over 400 degrees Celsius. In this toxic, boiling environment, where no sunlight ever reaches, life should be impossible. Yet, against all logic, huge colonies of giant tube worms and ghost white crabs thrive here, huddled around the deadly heat like a campfire in winter. This discovery changed science forever. These creatures rely on chemosynthesis, converting toxic chemicals into energy, rather than photosynthesis from the sun. It suggests that life does not strictly need a star to survive, only an energy source. Looking at these alien ecosystems, scientists believe that similar life forms could exist right now in the subsurface oceans of Jupiter's moon Europa, huddled around alien vents in the dark. Meet the vampire squid from hell, or Vampiroteuthis infernalis. Despite its terrifying name and blood-red color, it is actually a gentle scavenger. It lives in the oxygen minimum zone, where few predators can survive. Its red color effectively makes it invisible in the deep sea, as red light cannot penetrate this far down. It floats silently like a dark cloak, using large, sensitive eyes to spot the faint drift of marine snow. When threatened, it performs a bizarre trick. Instead of ink, it ejects a cloud of glowing bioluminescent mucus that dazzles and confuses attackers. Even stranger, it can turn itself inside out, wrapping its body in its spiky black-lined web like a pineapple. It is a master of defense, a relic from the age of dinosaurs that has survived by adapting to the slow, low-energy rhythm of the shadowed depths. In the realm of biology, there is one rule that seems absolute: everything dies. But the immortal jellyfish, Torotopsis dohrnii, breaks this rule. When this tiny creature is injured, sick, or old, it does not die. Instead, it reverses its life cycle. It shrinks, reabsorbs its tentacles, and transforms back into a polyp, its baby stage. It literally grows younger, starting its life over again from scratch. Theoretically, this cycle can repeat forever, making the jellyfish biologically immortal. It is the only known animal capable of hitting the reset button on existence. Scientists are studying its DNA in hopes of unlocking the secrets of cellular regeneration. While it can still be eaten by predators, its ability to cheat death by refusing to age is a miracle of nature, proving that the boundary between life and death is fluid. The ocean is also a graveyard of human history. Off the coast of Japan lies the Yonaguni Monument, a massive underwater rock formation that looks suspiciously like a man-made city. With sharp angles, terraced steps, and straight walls, it fuels the imagination. Is this a lost civilization swallowed by rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, or simply a freak of geology shaped by strong currents? Geologists argue that nature can create straight lines, but the precision here is haunting. It reminds us of the myth of Atlantis, the advanced city that sank into the sea in a single day and night. With 95% of the ocean floor unexplored, how many forgotten empires lie sleeping in the silt? The ocean keeps its secrets well, covering the triumphs of the past with a blanket of eternal blue silence. In 1997, underwater microphones captured a sound that terrified scientists. It was named the Bloop. It was an ultra-low frequency noise, but it was incredibly loud, heard by sensors 3,000 miles apart. For a sound to be that loud, if it were made by an animal, that creature would have to be significantly larger than a blue whale, the biggest animal to ever exist. The thought of a hidden titan lurking in the deep chilled the world. While NOAA eventually concluded it was likely the sound of a massive icequake, an iceberg cracking and breaking away from Antarctica, the initial mystery sparked a primal fear. The ocean is vast enough to hide giants. We like to think we have mapped the world, but in the deep, sound travels for thousands of miles, carrying the whispers of events or creatures that we are not yet ready to face or understand. Imagine a lake inside the ocean. These are brine pools. The water here is so salty and dense that it does not mix with the surrounding seawater, creating a distinct surface with its own shoreline and waves deep underwater. It looks like a beach in hell. The high salinity makes the water toxic to most sea life. Any fish that accidentally swims into the jacuzzi of despair suffers toxic shock and dies instantly. The corpses of these unfortunate creatures are often preserved by the brine, pickled in the salty grave for decades. These pools are extreme environments that teem with specialized bacteria, offering clues to how life might survive on harsh planets. It is a surreal sight, a diver floating above an underwater river, witnessing a separate, deadly world contained within the safety of the ocean floor. Deep in the abyss swims a creature that is mostly mouth, the gulper eel, also known as the pelican eel. It has a tiny body, but a massive, hinge-like jaw that can open wide enough to swallow prey much larger than itself. In the food-scarce environment of the deep, you cannot afford to be picky. When a meal swims by, no matter the size, the gulper eel inflates its mouth like a balloon and scoops it up. To attract this prey, it uses a bioluminescent organ at the tip of its tail. It wiggles this pink glowing light like a fishing lure. In the darkness, curiosity kills the fish. The gulper eel is a perfect example of adaptation to extreme scarcity. It has sacrificed speed and strength for the ability to eat anything that fits in its mouth, surviving in a zone where meals might come only once every few months. When the sun sets on a coral reef, a different kind of magic begins. Under ultraviolet light, corals reveal a secret: bioluminescence. They absorb blue light and re-emit it as neon greens, reds, and oranges. It transforms the reef into a psychedelic alien landscape. This isn't just for show. Scientists believe this glowing acts as a sunscreen, protecting the coral from intense sunlight, or helps the symbiotic algae within them to photosynthesize. Swimming through a fluorescent reef feels like flying through Pandora from Avatar. Tiny plankton sparkle like fairy dust when disturbed, creating trails of light behind moving fish. This hidden spectrum of color is invisible to the human eye without special equipment, reminding us that nature has layers of beauty that exist just beyond the limits of our own perception, waiting for the right light to be revealed. Huge sails are as majestic as the flight of the manta ray. With wingspans reaching up to 29 feet, they are the gentle giants of the ocean. Unlike stingrays, they have no barb and are harmless filter feeders. They glide through the water with the grace of birds, performing underwater loops and somersaults while feeding on plankton. They have the largest brain-to-body ratio of any fish, showing signs of high intelligence and curiosity. Mantas often visit cleaning stations on the reef, where small fish pick parasites off their skin. They will patiently wait in line for their turn, hovering motionless. This symbiotic relationship shows the cooperation inherent in nature. Watching a squadron of manta rays soaring through the blue void is a spiritual experience, a silent ballet that highlights the peaceful power and ancient rhythm of the marine world. We conclude this segment at the most famous shipwreck in history, the Titanic. Rusting 3,800 meters down, it is being slowly consumed by the ocean. Specialized bacteria, named Halomonas titanicae, are eating the iron of the ship, forming rusticles that look like melting icicles. The ship is literally dissolving into the water. Scientists predict that within a few decades, the wreckage will collapse entirely, leaving only a rust stain on the sand. It is a haunting memorial to human hubris and tragedy. Shoes, bottles, and personal items lie scattered in the debris field, preserved by the lack of oxygen. The Titanic reminds us that the ocean eventually reclaims everything. No matter how big or unsinkable we build, in the end, metal returns to the earth, and the deep sea swallows our history, turning our monuments into reefs for the creatures of the dark. From the air, it looks like a giant dark eye staring up at the sky. This is the Great Blue Hole off the coast of Belize. It is a massive marine sinkhole, a circular cavern 124 meters deep. Originally a limestone cave formed during the last ice age, the ocean levels rose and the roof collapsed, creating this vertical abyss. The stark contrast between the turquoise shallows and the deep blue ink of the hole is both beautiful and terrifying. Divers who venture down describe a transition from life to death. At the surface, sharks and coral thrive. But as you descend past the hydrogen sulfide layer, the water becomes devoid of oxygen. Here, preserved stalactites hang like Gothic chandeliers in a silent cathedral. It is a time capsule of Earth's geological past, a graveyard for creatures that fell in thousands of years ago and were preserved in the anoxic darkness. The ocean doesn't need size to impress. Sometimes the marvels are miniature. Meet the nudibranchs or sea slugs. Unlike their garden cousins, these are the butterflies of the sea. They come in every neon color imaginable: electric blue, hot pink, vivid orange. Their wild patterns warn predators that they are toxic. Some species steal the poisonous cells from the jellyfish they eat and store them in their own skin for defense. They are truly alien in appearance. Some breathe through feathery gills on their backs, looking like living flowers. With over 3,000 species, they are a favorite of underwater photographers. Their existence is a splash of artistic genius in the evolutionary chain, proving that nature loves to paint with bold colors. In the gloom of the reef, a nudibranch is a tiny crawling gem that pulses with life and dangerous beauty. For centuries, sailors reported seeing giant sea serpents. The likely culprit is the orcash. Growing up to 36 feet long, it is the longest bony fish alive. With a silver, ribbon-like body and a crimson-red crest, it looks like a dragon. They live in the deep mesopelagic zone and rarely surface. In Japanese folklore, they are known as the messenger from the sea god's palace, and their appearance is feared as an omen of earthquakes. Scientifically, there might be truth to the myth. Oarfish may be sensitive to seismic fault movements, driving them to shallow waters before a quake. They swim vertically, holding their bodies straight up like a silver column, filtering tiny krill. Seeing one alive is incredibly rare. They are the ghosts of the deep, a living link between ancient mythology and modern marine biology, reminding us that monsters are often just misunderstood animals. A new gold rush is beginning, but not on land. The deep ocean floor is scattered with polymetallic nodules, potato-sized rocks rich in manganese, nickel, and cobalt metals crucial for electric car batteries. Mining companies are developing massive robotic harvesters to scour the seabed. It looks like sci-fi industry, machines crawling in the eternal dark to power our green future. But this comes at a terrifying potential cost. These nodules took millions of years to form and are the habitat for unique species that exist nowhere else. Dredging the seafloor creates massive sediment plumes that can choke marine life for miles. We are on the verge of destroying an ecosystem before we have even explored it. It is an ethical dilemma of the 21st century. Do we sacrifice the last untouched wilderness of Earth to save the climate above the waves? In the open ocean, there is no place to hide. So the glass octopus chose the ultimate camouflage: invisibility. This creature is almost completely transparent. You can look right through its gelatinous body and see the ocean on the other side. The only visible parts are its digestive system and its rectangular eyes. It drifts like a ghost, a phantom in the water column that is nearly impossible for predators to spot. Its eyes are unique, pointed upward to detect the faint silhouettes of prey swimming above against the dim surface light. Living in the deep mid-waters, it is a master of stealth. Being transparent is a biological expensive trick, requiring perfect tissue organization to not scatter light. The glass octopus is a masterpiece of optical engineering, a living whisper that proves the best way to survive is to simply not be seen. When a massive whale dies and sinks to the bottom, it creates a whale fall. This isn't just a death. It is the birth of an ecosystem. In the barren wasteland of the abyss, a whale carcass is like a sudden oasis of food that lasts for decades. First, scavengers like hagfish and sleeper sharks tear away the flesh. Then, worms and bacteria take over, breaking down the bones to extract lipids. A single whale fall provides as much food as falls from the surface in 2,000 years. Entire species have evolved to travel from one whale skeleton to another. It is a grim but beautiful cycle of life. In the cold dark, nothing is wasted. The death of a giant supports the life of thousands of tiny creatures, turning a tragedy into a bustling city of survival on the lonely ocean floor. It looks like a beautiful purple balloon floating on the waves, but the Portuguese man-o'-war is a floating fortress of pain. Surprisingly, it is not a jellyfish. It is a Siphonophora colony of specialized identical clones working together as one organism. Some parts are for floating, some for eating, and some for reproduction. It is a biological collective, drifting at the mercy of the wind. Beneath the beauty lies a deadly trap. Its tentacles can stretch down 165 feet, longer than a blue whale. They are covered in venom-filled microscopic harpoons that paralyze fish instantly. For humans, the sting is agonizing, leaving whip-like welts. It is a mindless drifter, a beautiful alien ship that sails the world's oceans, trailing a net of death behind it for any unsuspecting creature that swims too close. Pound for pound, the mantis shrimp is the most violent creature on Earth. It is a colorful crustacean with clubs for arms. It punches with the speed of a .22 caliber bullet. The strike is so fast that it boils the water around it, creating a shock wave and a flash of light called sonoluminescence. Even if it misses, the shock wave alone can kill its prey. It can break aquarium glass with a single hit. But it is also a seer. Its eyes are the most complex in the animal kingdom, possessing 16 color-receptive cones compared to our 3. They can see ultraviolet, polarized light, and colors we cannot even imagine. They perceive a world of secret messages and hidden signals. The mantis shrimp is a warrior poet, armed with a super weapon and gifted with supernatural vision, living a vibrant life on the coral reef. For years, divers found perfect, intricate geometric circles in the sand off the coast of Japan. They looked like underwater crop circles. The artist turned out to be a tiny, unassuming male pufferfish. Working 24 hours a day for a week, he uses his fins to sculpt the sand into ridges and valleys, creating a stunning mandala up to 7 feet wide. He even decorates it with shells. This masterpiece has one purpose: to attract a mate. Females judge the male by the perfection and symmetry of his creation. If she likes it, she lays her eggs in the center. The ridges also serve a purpose: channeling currents to oxygenate the eggs. It is a story of dedication and art. In the vast ocean, a small fish creates fleeting beauty in the sand, driven by the universal instinct to create life. We end this segment at the loneliest place on the planet, Point Nemo. Located in the South Pacific, it is the pole of inaccessibility, the point in the ocean farthest from any land. If you were swimming here, the nearest humans to you would likely be the astronauts on the International Space Station, orbiting 400 kilometers above. It is a biological desert, too far from land nutrients to support much life. Because it is so remote, humans use it as a grave. It is a spacecraft cemetery. Deorbited satellites and space stations, like the old Mir station, are crashed here safely away from people. Beneath the waves lie the twisted titanium remains of our space history. It is a poetic meeting place where the heights of our technology return to the primal depths of the water, resting in eternal silence at the end of the world. Beneath the sand waits a nightmare: the bobbit worm. This ambush predator can grow up to 3 meters long, burying its entire body in the sediment with only its terrifying jaws exposed. It waits for a fish to swim by, sensing its shadow or chemical trail. When the moment is right, it strikes with blinding speed, snapping its jaws shut like a bear trap. The attack is so powerful, it can slice prey clean in half instantly. Once it grabs its victim, it drags it down into its burrow in the sand. The fish disappears into the seabed, never to be seen again. The bobbit worm has no eyes and no brain to speak of, just a primitive nerve cluster driven by hunger. It is a creature of pure instinct, surviving unchanged for millions of years. It reminds us that the ocean floor is not just sand. It is a hunting ground where death hides just beneath the surface. Deep in the abyss floats a ghostly shapeshifter, the Deepsteria jellyfish. Unlike other jellyfish with long tentacles, this creature looks like a thin, floating sheet or a plastic bag drifting in the current. It lacks stinging tentacles and instead traps prey by enveloping them with its massive bell-shaped body. It can expand and contract, moving like a living phantom. When lit by submarine lights, it reveals a mesmerizing geometric mesh pattern. A famous video once captured a Deepsteria with a small crustacean trapped inside, walking around on the jellyfish's body like a pilot in a biological spaceship. This symbiotic relationship, or slow digestion, highlights the strange interactions in the deep. It is extremely fragile. A strong current could tear it apart. Yet, in the calm, crushing depths, it thrives as a silent drifter, a mystery that looks more like a discarded spirit than an animal. In the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, divers can experience a hallucination, an underwater river. Inside the deep sinkhole, known as cenote and zelita, a layer of hydrogen sulfide separates the fresh water above from the salt water below. This hazy layer looks exactly like a flowing river, complete with fallen trees and leaves on its banks. It is a surreal landscape where you can float above a stream while already being underwater. The hydrogen sulfide cloud is toxic and thick, blocking out the light. Swimming through it is disorienting, smelling like rotten eggs even through the mask. Beneath the cloud, it is pitch black and prehistoric. This visual phenomenon creates a mystical atmosphere, a bridge between worlds. It feels like a portal to the underworld, a place where the rules of physics seem to bend and nature creates art from chemistry and density. The ocean's past holds the king of all predators, the Megalodon. Ruling the seas 20 million years ago, this shark grew up to 60 feet long, 3 times the size of a great white. Its jaws were big enough to swallow 2 people standing side by side. Its teeth, often found fossilized, are the size of a human hand. It hunted whales, crushing their rib cages with the strongest bite force ever estimated in the animal kingdom. Could it still exist? While movies love the idea, science says no. The Megalodon required warm waters and massive amounts of food to survive. As the Ice Age cooled, the oceans and whale migration patterns changed. The giant starved. However, with so much of the deep ocean unexplored, the human imagination refuses to let go. It remains the ultimate symbol of the ocean's raw power, a ghost that still haunts our collective fear of the deep. Recently, off the coast of Australia, scientists discovered what might be the longest animal ever recorded, a giant siphonophore. Arranged in a spiral like a galaxy, this gelatinous string was estimated to be 150 feet long, longer than a blue whale. It floated in the deep like a massive living UFO. As we mentioned, it is not one animal but a colony of millions of clones, all connected and working together in perfect harmony. It hunts by trailing thousands of stinging tentacles, creating a curtain of death in the water. This specific spiral formation allows it to cover the maximum area to catch food. Seeing something this massive and alien reminds us that we are just scratching the surface of marine biology. In the deep ocean, life does not follow the rules of size we are used to on land. Giants float silently in the dark, older than humanity itself. Let's lighten the mood with the deepest living octopus, the Dumbo octopus. Named after the Disney elephant, it has two ear-like fins on its head that it flaps to swim. It lives at extreme depths of up to 4,000 meters. Unlike its cousins, it doesn't have an ink sac because in total darkness, ink is useless. It is a cute, ghostly little creature that hovers above the seafloor, swallowing worms and crustaceans whole. Despite its adorable appearance, it is a tough survivor. The pressure where it lives would crush a submarine like a soda can. It has adapted by having a gelatinous body that matches the density of the water. It rarely moves fast, conserving energy in a world where food is scarce. The Dumbo octopus shows that even in the most hostile environments, nature can produce creatures that are undeniably charming and resilient. In the deep sea, you never know when your next meal will come, so you must be ready to eat anything. Enter the black swallower. This small fish has a stomach that can stretch to hold prey 10 times its own mass. It can swallow a fish twice its length and coil it up inside its belly. Its stomach becomes so transparent and distended that you can see the undigested prey inside, looking like a gruesome trophy. Sometimes greed is fatal. Swallowers have been found floating dead on the surface because they ate a fish so big that it started to decompose before it could be digested. The gas from the rotting prey inflated the swallower like a balloon, dragging it up from the deep. It is a grotesque example of gluttony in the animal kingdom, proving that in the abyss, having eyes bigger than your stomach can literally kill you. The Barreleye fish has the most unusual head in the ocean. It is completely transparent. The two green orbs you see inside its skull are actually its eyes, which can rotate to look upward or forward. The spots on its face that look like eyes are actually its nostrils. This transparent dome allows it to see prey silhouetted against the faint light above, while protecting its sensitive eyes from the stinging tentacles of jellyfish. It is mostly motionless, hanging in the water to spot unsuspecting prey. When it sees a shadow, it rotates its eyes forward and attacks. This adaptation is like having a built-in cockpit window. Discovered alive only recently by remote submersibles, the Barreleye looks like a creature from a science fiction movie. It highlights how evolution solves the problem of vision in the Twilight Zone in the most bizarre way possible. Sailors used to whisper about walls of water appearing out of nowhere, rogue waves. Science dismissed them as myths until 1995, when a laser on an oil rig recorded a 26-meter wave in the North Sea. These freak waves are mathematically unexpected, twice the size of surrounding waves. They appear suddenly in calm seas, towering like liquid monsters, and can break ships in half before disappearing back into the ocean. They are formed by constructive interference, where smaller waves join forces, or by currents pushing against waves. They are the ocean's unpredictable fury. Modern satellites have revealed they are more common than we thought. For a ship captain, they are the ultimate nightmare, a random act of violence from nature that cannot be predicted. It proves that the ocean's surface is a chaotic, untamed energy field that demands respect. On certain shores like Vadhu Island in the Maldives, the ocean glows blue at night. This sea of stars is caused by bioluminescent plankton called dinoflagellates. When disturbed by waves or a footprint, they emit a flash of blue light as a defense mechanism to startle predators. Walking on this beach feels like walking among the stars. Every step leaves a glowing footprint, and every wave crashes in a burst of neon light. This chemical reaction involves a molecule called luciferin, the same as in fireflies. While beautiful to us, it is a scream of "don't eat me" in the language of light. Historically, sailors used this glow to navigate, spotting shoals of fish or submerged rocks by the light they triggered. It is one of the most magical experiences on Earth, blurring the line between the sky and the sea, turning a dark beach into a dreamscape. We met the giant squid, but there is one heavier, the colossal squid. Living in the freezing waters of the Antarctic, This titan is shorter, but much bulkier than its cousin. While the giant squid has suckers lined with small teeth, the colossal squid is armed with sharp, rotating hooks that can rip flesh apart. It is a dedicated hunter of large fish and even other squid, ruling the icy depths with brute strength and terrifying weaponry. It possesses the largest eye in the entire animal kingdom, the size of a soccer ball. This massive lens is designed to detect the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence in the pitch black. It allows the squid to spot the approaching shadow of a sperm whale from hundreds of feet away, giving it a chance to flee or fight. It is a monster built for the dark, a biological surveillance system patrolling the frozen end of the world. How does life survive in the deep where there is no sun to grow food? The answer is marine snow. It is a constant shower of white flakes falling from the surface. This snow is made of dead plankton, fecal matter, and decaying animals. It sounds unappealing to us, but for the creatures of the abyss, it is manna from heaven. It is the primary food source that sustains the entire deep-sea ecosystem, connecting the sunlit world above to the dark below. This slow drift of nutrients takes weeks to reach the bottom. It also plays a crucial role in the Earth's climate by trapping carbon in the deep ocean for thousands of years. Without this biological pump, our planet would be much hotter. Watching it fall is a peaceful, almost spiritual experience. A silent, endless blizzard that feeds the hungry ghosts of the deep and keeps the planet's chemistry in balance. If a nightmare had a face, it would be the goblin shark. This rare, pink-skinned shark looks like a prehistoric relic. It has a long, flat snout that overhangs its mouth. But the true horror happens when it feeds. Its jaws are not fixed to its skull. They can sling forward like a spring-loaded trap to snatch prey. It is the fastest jaw movement of any shark, a lightning-fast snap that leaves no chance for escape. The Dublin shark is often called a living fossil because it has changed very little in 125 million years. Its pink color comes from its blood vessels being visible through its translucent skin. It swims sluggishly in the middle depths, sensing the electric fields of prey with its long nose. It is a survivor from an era when dinosaurs walked the earth, lurking in the shadows long after its ancient contemporaries turned to dust. For decades, scientists believed the coelacanth went extinct 66 million years ago, alongside the dinosaurs. Then, in 1938, a fisherman in South Africa caught one alive. It was the biological discovery of the century. This fish is a Loxodus taxon, a species that came back from the dead. It has strange, limb-like fins that move like legs, hinting at the evolutionary transition when fish first crawled out of the water to become land animals. Living in deep underwater caves, the coelacanth moves with a slow, drifting grace. It has a vestigial lung filled with fat and a unique hinged skull. Finding it alive is like walking into a forest and seeing a T-Rex. It reminds us that the ocean is a perfect preserver of history. While the world above changed drastically, the coelacanth found a quiet corner in the deep and simply kept on living, ignoring the passage of eons. Not all vents are black and volcanic. In the Atlantic, there's a place called the Lost City. Here, massive creamy white towers of limestone rise up to 60 meters from the seafloor. Unlike black smokers, these vents are not powered by magma, but by a chemical reaction between seawater and mantle rock called serpentinization. They release hydrogen and methane, creating a highly alkaline environment that is unique in the ocean. Many scientists believe that a place like this is where life on Earth began. The microscopic pores in the limestone chimneys could have acted as the first cells, trapping chemicals to form the first DNA. It is a gentle, ghostly landscape that creates the building blocks of biology from stone and water. Looking at the Lost City is likely looking at the cradle of our own existence, the original Garden of Eden hidden in the dark. Of all the creatures captured on camera, none are as unsettling as the bigfin squid or magna pinna. It looks unmistakably alien. It has enormous fins and incredibly long fin tentacles that hang down for meters. Stranger still, the tentacles have elbows bending at a 90-degree angle. It drips silently in the void, dragging its sticky arms through the water or along the seabed to snare unsuspecting prey. Footage of this creature is rare and grainy, adding to its creepiness. It looks like a puppet with tangled strings or a visitor from another dimension. We know almost nothing about its behavior or life cycle. It inhabits the deepest parts of the ocean, staring back at our cameras with a stillness that is unnerving. It is the embodiment of the deep sea mystery, a creature that defies our understanding of what an animal should look like. In the deep, things get big. This is known as abyssal gigantism. The giant isopod is the perfect example. It looks like a pill bug or roly-poly you find in your garden, but it can grow to the size of a football. These armored scavengers crawl across the ocean floor, eating anything that falls from above. Their slow metabolism allows them to survive for years without eating, waiting patiently for the next meal. Why do they get so big? Theories suggest it is due to the cold temperature and high pressure, which slows down their growth but extends their lifespan. They are the tanks of the deep, protected by a thick exoskeleton. While they look frightening to some, they are harmless cleaners. They show us that on the ocean floor, the rules of scale are different. A bug is not just a bug. It is a monster of the deep. Floating like living jewels, comb jellies put on a spectacular light show. Unlike jellyfish, they don't sting. The rainbow colors rippling down their sides are not bioluminescence. They are physics. Tiny hair-like structures called cilia beat in rhythm to move the creature. And as they move, they refract light like a prism, creating a shimmering rainbow effect. It is a biological disco ball drifting in the current. These ancient creatures might be the first animals to have evolved a nervous system distinct from all other life. They are voracious predators of plankton. Some species can even eat other comb jellies larger than themselves. Watching them pulse with light is mesmerizing. They are fragile beauty in motion, using the laws of optics to dazzle in the darkness, proving that nature was the first master of light and color. Off the coast of Mauritius, there is an illusion that breaks the mind, an underwater waterfall. From the air, it looks like the ocean is draining into a massive hole in the earth. In reality, it is sand and silt sediment being swept off an underwater shelf and falling down into a deeper abyss. The flow of sand creates the visual appearance of a cascading waterfall deep beneath the waves. Even though it is an optical illusion, the forces here are real. The currents are powerful, shaping the geography of the island. It is a breathtaking reminder of the dynamic nature of the ocean floor. While we see the ocean surface is flat, the bottom is full of cliffs, valleys, and cascading rivers of sediment. It is a landscape as dramatic as the Grand Canyon, hidden beneath a blanket of blue. We must address a heartbreaking reality. When explorers reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on Earth, they found something shocking, a plastic bag. Even at 11 kilometers down, where humans cannot survive for a second, our trash has preceded us. Microplastics have been found in the stomachs of amphipods in the deepest trenches. There is no corner of the ocean left untouched by humanity. This pollution enters the food chain at the bottom and works its way up, eventually returning to our dinner plates. The deep ocean is a slow-moving system. A plastic bottle dropped today will sit there for centuries. It serves as a somber warning. We are the stewards of this planet, and our influence extends to the darkest, most remote frontiers. Protecting the ocean means protecting the parts of it we will never even see. To truly understand the ocean, we must grasp its scale. The Pacific Ocean is so massive that all of Earth's continents could fit inside it with room to spare. There are points in the Pacific where, if you were to dig a hole straight through the center of the Earth to the other side, you would not come out on land. You would come out in the Atlantic Ocean. It is a water world. We are merely island dwellers on a blue planet dominated by the deep. This vastness creates antipathies of pure water. The sheer volume of the Pacific regulates the planet's temperature, absorbing heat and carbon. It is the engine of our climate. Looking at it from space, you realize that the Earth is a misnomer. It should be called ocean. It is a humbling perspective, showing us that land is the exception and water is the rule. We are guests in a house built of salt and tide. No ocean story is complete without the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, ships and planes vanished here without a trace. While many theories involve aliens or wormholes, the truth might be buried in the seabed. Methane hydrates. Massive pockets of methane gas trapped under the seafloor can suddenly erupt. This creates a giant bubble that lowers the density of the water instantly. A ship floating above would lose buoyancy and drop like a stone into the abyss. Another culprit could be hexagonal clouds, creating air bombs with 170 miles per hour winds. While statistics show the triangle is no more dangerous than other busy shipping lanes, the legend persists. It taps into our primal fear of the sea's unpredictability. It represents the idea that the ocean can simply open up and swallow us whole, erasing all evidence of our existence in a matter of minutes, leaving only silence behind. We think of the internet as existing in the cloud, but it actually lies on the ocean floor. Over 1.2 million kilometers of fiber optic cables crisscross the abyss, connecting continents. These glass strands, thinner than a human hair, carry 99% of all international data. Your ability to watch this video right now depends on a cable lying in the mud thousands of meters down, perhaps being inspected by a curious crab. Occasionally, sharks bite these cables, attracted by the electromagnetic fields. It is a clash of eras, ancient predators meeting modern technology. These cables are the nervous system of our civilization, yet they are vulnerable to the raw power of the ocean earthquakes, currents, and submarine landslides. It reminds us that our digital world is physically tethered to the wild, untamed nature of the deep sea. Sound travels differently in the deep. There is a layer called the SOFAR channel, or deep sound channel, where sound waves get trapped and can travel for thousands of miles without losing energy. Whales use this to communicate across entire oceans. A blue whale singing off the coast of Ireland can potentially be heard by another whale in the Americas. It is a natural planetary intercom system. During the Cold War, the Navy used this channel to track submarines. Today, we listen to the tragic songs of lonely whales calling out for mates they might never find. In the dense medium of water, sound is life. It connects creatures across the vast, blinding dark. The ocean is not silent. It is a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and songs that weave a story of connection spanning the entire globe. The history of the ocean is written in the bones of its giants. Whales were not always sea creatures. They evolved from wolf-like land animals that walked on four legs 50 million years ago. Slowly, they returned to the water, their legs becoming fins, their nostrils moving to the top of their heads to become blowholes. Fossils like Basilosaurus show this transition, snake-like whales with tiny, useless back legs. This return to the ocean is one of evolution's greatest U-turns. It explains why whales still breathe air and nurse their young. They are mammals who looked at the land and decided the water was better. It connects us to them. We share a common ancestor who walked the earth. When we look into the eye of a whale, we are seeing a distant cousin who chose the freedom of the deep over the gravity of the land. The ocean saves lives in unexpected ways. Meet the horseshoe crab, a creature older than dinosaurs. Its blood is bright blue because it uses copper instead of iron to carry oxygen. This blue blood contains a chemical that clots instantly when it touches bacteria. Pharmaceutical companies used it to test the safety of vaccines and medical equipment. If you have ever had a shot, you owe your safety to this ancient crab. Scientists are also studying the venom of cone snails to create painkillers stronger than morphine, but without the addiction risk. Sponges are providing compounds to fight cancer. The ocean is the world's largest pharmacy, filled with chemical solutions evolved over billions of years. Destroying the ocean means burning the library of medicine before we have even read the books. Our future health is tied to the health of the sea. We cannot talk about the ocean without talking about the moon. Its gravity pulls the Earth's water, creating the rhythm of the tides. This cosmic dance drives the life cycles of the sea. Once a year, under a full moon, corals along the Great Barrier Reef spawn in unison, releasing millions of eggs and sperm into the water. It is the largest synchronized reproductive event on the planet, triggered by the lunar cycle. This connection proves that the ocean is not an isolated system. It is part of a celestial mechanic. The ebb and flow of the tide is the heartbeat of the planet, dictated by a rock orbiting 240,000 miles away. It affects everything from the hunting times of sharks to the nesting of turtles. We are all swaying to the gravity of the moon, living in a fluid world pulled by the stars. Rising from the flat abyssal plains are seamounts underwater volcanoes that act as oases. Because they disrupt ocean currents, they bring nutrient-rich water up from the deep. This explosion of food attracts everything: corals, tuna, sharks, and whales. They are biodiversity hotspots in the middle of the ocean desert. Fishermen call them fish magnets. Scientists estimate there are over 100,000 seamounts, but less than 1% have been explored. Each one could host species unique to that single mountain, evolved in isolation like an underwater Galapagos. They are stepping stones for migratory species, rest stops on the Great Blue Highway. Protecting these hidden peaks is crucial for the health of the entire ocean, as they are the bustling cities of the deep sea. As sea levels rise and land becomes scarce, we look back to the ocean as a future home. Architects are designing underwater cities, self-sustaining habitats powered by wave energy and algae. Living underwater is no longer just science fiction. Aquanauts already live for weeks in labs like Aquarius Reef Face. The challenge is the pressure, but the reward is a life immersed in the most beautiful environment on Earth. Imagine waking up to a school of fish swimming past your bedroom window. We might one day become a semi-aquatic species, farming the sea and restoring the reefs we destroyed. It is a return to our origins. The ocean covers 71% of the planet. Ignoring it as a living space seems wasteful. The future of humanity might not be on Mars, but right here, under the waves of our own blue marble. Our exploration of Earth's ocean is a rehearsal for the stars. Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's Enceladus are ocean worlds. Beneath miles of ice, they hold liquid saltwater oceans that contain more water than all of Earth combined. NASA tests its submersible robots in our own deep sea to prepare for these missions. If life exists elsewhere in the solar system, it is likely swimming in those dark alien seas. Finding hydrothermal vents on Earth gave us hope that life doesn't need sunlight. Europa's ocean is heated by tidal forces, potentially creating similar vents. We might find alien jellyfish or microbes there. The study of the abyss is the study of life's universal potential. We are learning to recognize the signatures of life in the dark, so that when we finally drill through the ice of Europa, we will know what we are looking at. Why do we feel so calm when we look at the sea? Scientists call this blue mind. Being near, in, or underwater lowers our heart rate and reduces stress. It is a biological connection. Our bodies are 60% water. Our blood has a chemical composition similar to seawater. We are physically connected to the ocean. It calls to us because it is where we came from. It is a meditative state of being. In a world of digital noise and constant distraction, the ocean offers a simpler, rhythmic sensory input. The sound of waves and the visual expanse of blue allow our brains to rest. It is not just a resource, it is a therapy. Preserving the ocean is preserving our own sanctuary, a place where we can disconnect from technology and reconnect with the primal flowing essence of life itself. Despite all our technology, we have explored less than 20% of the ocean. We have better maps of the moon and Mars than of our own seafloor. Every time a submersible goes down, it finds new species. There are likely millions of creatures waiting to be discovered, from microscopic wonders to perhaps massive leviathans hiding in the trenches. The age of exploration is not over. It has just gone vertical. This ignorance is exciting. It means magic still exists in the world. There are still blank spots on the map labeled, "Here be dragons." The ocean is the subconscious of the planet, holding memories and forms we have yet to dream of. It challenges our arrogance, reminding us that we are not the masters of this planet, but merely curious children standing on the edge of a deep, dark, and wonderful mystery. Water is eternal. The water in your glass today is the same water that dinosaurs drank millions of years ago. It has been cycled through rain, rivers, oceans, and ice for eons. It cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. We are drinking the tears of the past and the storms of the future. This cycle connects every living thing across time and space. The ocean is the heart of this cycle. It evaporates to form clouds, which rain on the land to feed the forests, which flows back to the sea. We are part of this flow. Every breath we take contains oxygen produced by ocean plankton. Even if you live 1,000 miles inland, the ocean is touching you right now with every breath. We are not separate from the water. We are simply a vessel for it to flow through for a lifetime. We have traveled from the sunlit surface to the crushing dark of the Mariana Trench. We have met monsters with glowing lures, transparent ghosts, and gentle giants. We have seen ancient shipwrecks dissolving into rust and underwater volcanoes creating life. The ocean is a place of extremes, beauty and terror, darkness and light, death and rebirth. It is the greatest story on Earth, written in salt and water. As we ascend back towards the light, leaving the pressure behind, we carry a new understanding. The abyss is not a scary void. It is a vibrant, living world that sustains us. It demands our respect and our protection. The creatures of the deep are not just monsters. They are marvels of adaptation, surviving in conditions we can barely comprehend. They are the guardians of the planet's final frontier. Thank you for diving into the unknown with me on this 60-minute journey through the dark abyss. It has been an honor to explore the depths with you. If this voyage inspired you, please leave a like and subscribe to Nightlight Science Stories. Your support acts as the sonar that guides us to our next discovery. Share this video with someone who loves the mystery of the deep. The ocean is vast, but our community is growing. Remember, beneath the surface of the everyday lies a world of wonder waiting to be found. Keep looking down, keep wondering, and never lose your sense of awe. Until our next adventure into the realms of science and fantasy, stay curious. This is Nightlight Science Stories, surfacing now. Goodbye and safe travels.